Yeah, look, what's up, my dudes? This is the Supercross Guide to MX Simulator, and first of all, let me thank Rise Harris for another donation. This one is for $2.59. That's insane. I don't think I've ever had somebody donate to me twice before, so I appreciate it, dude. And I'm actually going to be giving away a full Skyrim game code, download code for Xbox 360 right now in this video. I actually got some extra ones with some controllers that I bought, and I already have Skyrim for the 360, so I just thought I'd give these away on my YouTube channel. So I'm going to say the code right now: 7MX7F RVW8T DP8QW XGQD4 X6QMD. So remember, that's all capital letters, and it does have the little dashes in there, even though I don't think you actually put that in there on the whenever you type the code in when you redeem it. But yeah, that's a full Skyrim Xbox 360 code right there. So going to be giving away some more of those in some future videos, but let's get to the video here. So I've had a lot of people request this. Somebody recently requested this, and so that's the reason why I'm making this video. I make a lot of videos that people request, so always, if you have any ideas in your head, just let me know in the comments. I've done that multiple times in the past where I've made a video strictly from seeing it in the comment section. So I know a lot of people can have trouble with Supercross in this game. And even though they might be pretty quick in motocross and they feel really comfortable on motocross, they just can't seem to figure out Supercross for some reason. And for me, it's always came a little bit more natural to me because I think it's because that I started on Supercross and because I put about 3 times more time into Supercross than I have motocross. So that probably plays a pretty big part as to why I'm so comfortable on Supercross tracks. It's all in how much time you put into any particular type of riding in this game. So if you put a lot of time into motocross, you're going to be a lot better at motocross. If you put a lot of time into Supercross, you're going to be better at that. If you put a lot of time into trail riding or enduro cross, you're going to be better at that. So that's just a given right there. But with Supercross, it's a very all or nothing sort of thing, and that's what makes it very difficult to learn, because it's pretty difficult to just be like halfway and still try to do well with Supercross. And it's the same way in real life. You're almost basically 0 throttle or 100% throttle to even be able to do it. Like, it's either you're not getting around the track or you're getting around the track, basically. And that's where I think starting on those earlier years of Supercross tracks like 2011, 12, and 13 is really going to help you a lot just by learning the way Supercross works in this game, because they're a lot easier than these 2014, 15, 16, 17 tracks. It's just going to be a lot harder if you try to start on those. So what is Supercross all about? The jumps. That's what 90% of a Supercross track is the jumps. So, in turn, if you can't hit the jumps right, you're not going to be very good at a Supercross track. So, I recommend, if you're just starting out, don't worry so much about being fast on the track. Just do whatever you can to be able to hit the jumps properly. You have to learn the jumps first before you learn the speed in everything. But the tricky thing about that is you have to have the correct speed and drive out of the corner to even be able to hit the jumps. So everything just kind of works together. It's pretty insane when I look back at how precise and how hard it is to actually ride on a Supercross track. It's always just came so natural to me, but in reality, it's not that easy to somebody that's been riding motocross, solely motocross forever in this game. So basically what you want to do is, like I'm saying, do whatever you can to be able to hit the jumps properly. So if you have to hit that corner super wide and take your time with it, then you need to do that. You need to learn how to actually hit those jumps before you go into the corner really hot, because if you're only focused on the corner, then you're just going to be spinning out and you're not even going to be able to hit the jumps. So A big thing about Supercross is being able to hit triple ends out of the corner. That's one of the biggest steps in Supercross progression, is going from doubling rhythm sections out of the corner to tripling in rhythm sections out of the corner. It doesn't matter if you're tripling in on a tabletop or if you're tripling in just on a normal rhythm section. Whatever it is, that's one of the biggest separating points when you're learning Supercross, is being able to triple in versus double in. And you're going to have to start by doubling in and trying to learn that and feel how the bike feels going over the jumps, and how all that feels when you're really hitting abrupt jump faces. But you need to try to triple in as quickly as you possibly can, because if you're not tripling in on a Supercross track, you're not going to be pro racing, period. If you can't triple in, you're not going to be pro racing. Whether or not you're on a 250 or a 450. And the 250 class is a lot different than the 450 class, because the 450 class, you're going to have to be able to hit bigger quads and stuff, whereas a lot of times in the 250 class, you're not really hitting as many quads, so it's a little bit easier to kind of wrap your mind around some of the the rhythm sections and stuff like that. But as far as just simply learning your triple ends and stuff out of the corner, it's so crucial in this game, dude. It's everything to Supercross. But your cornering, what you will start to learn is, once you get really comfortable with, I was telling you, to go all the way to the outside and make sure you can get the speed to hit a jump. Well, start trying to cut to the inside a little bit and sweep to the inside and see if you can still hit that jump. And then when you can hit it like that, then you sweep a little bit more to the inside, and then you sweep a little bit more to the inside. And then instead of going all the way out to the outside, now you're able to sweep up the inside and still hit that jump. And now you're saving, you're cutting off maybe a full second in that corner, because you're not just tiptoeing all the way to the outside. So that's a big aspect that you learn. Certain areas of a Supercross track where you will cut corners, not cheat in the corner, but you're angling the bike in a way to where you're shaving off time off your lap times in a super big way. And Supercross is a very one way to hit the jumps kind of thing in this game on most tracks out there. You just figure out the fastest line on the track, and you're basically hitting that exact same square inch of the dirt of the track every single lap at that point. You don't really change up your lines too much in Supercross, because I'm saying, a lot of times you do have to swing the corner a very particular way just to hit the jump right. So you're really doing this laser beam sort of thing here with Supercross, where you're hitting the exact same lines over and over and over. Whereas with motocross, you're more just going with the flow, where you're just kind of going in whichever rut the bike sort of flows into at that particular time. But Supercross, you have to be able to hit the jumps perfect. So to be able to do that, you have to hit every other section perfect. So it makes it a very one-line style of thing, and you have to get that in your head. You don't want to be just kind of hitting this line one lap and then hitting that line one lap and then hitting this other line one lap and hitting that line one lap, because you're not going to get a very consistent speed basis unless you're trying to pass somebody up the inside, or that's where it starts getting tricky like that, where you have to start doing really advanced techniques and stuff. But so that's a big aspect, is just being able to realize how you have to hit the same lines every lap. But Supercross is all about the perfection aspect. It's a very perfectionist kind of thing. It's all the little things that you do. It's all the minute movements and the way that you hit a jump. For instance, you got to hit that jump 99% perfectly, not 80% perfectly. You got to land that downside of that jump 99% perfectly or 100% perfectly, whatever you consider that as being, versus over jumping it by just a little bit or under jumping it by just a little bit. You have to land it perfect if you want to hit the next big jump, and you have to land that jump 99 or 100% perfectly to hit the next big jump. So it's a very, a lot of people, I think they sort of look past or disregard how perfect you have to be on a Supercross track. That's what makes you fast on it. Even though it may look simple in certain occasions, like, oh, you're just hitting these jumps and these corners. There's not even any roughness. That shit's got to be easy. Well, it's not so easy because everyone's riding on the same track, so everyone's able to hit those jumps right and hit those corners right and do all that. So what separates you is your minute perfectionism in it. Being able to hit that jump 99% perfect versus 95% perfect. It's every little inch, the way you hit the throttle in the corner, somebody spins out 2% more than you, then you're going to be 20 seconds ahead of them in a main event. It's fucking insane. It's actually crazy when you think about how critical every little thing is in Supercross racing. But that's what you have to realize. It's a totally different animal than motocross. It's not like a holder wide open and, just flow all the way around this corner and land in this rut and jump over this roughness and bump over this rut and hit this 150-foot tabletop, and you can kind of land it however you want to land it. It's not like that at all in this game, dude. It's just a totally different thing with Supercross. But then you got all your little bizarre sections, like you have things where you've got you'll have weird sections like Dragon's Backs or whatever. You'll have Dragon's Backs, or you'll have just bizarre things like different wall jumps where you got to hook those all the way. You've got sections where just weird sand type sections, split lanes, all different kinds of stuff in Supercross that if you can't hit that, you're going to be screwed because you can't make it up anywhere else. You have to be able to hit every single obstacle and every single part of the track to a tip T-notch perfectly, or you're going to get smoked. Whereas like motocross, it's more of a brute sort of thing. It's more of just you're hammering it out, brute force. The flow of Supercross is everything. Being able to carry speed. Like, that's what's crazy about a Supercross track is if you crash anywhere, you almost can't even get yourself back going because the whole track requires the momentum from the section before it. Like, you have to hit this section, like, for instance, you have to hit this section perfectly to get the speed to hit the next section. Then you got to hit that triple perfectly to be able to get the speed to hit the next whoop section. Then you got to hit that section perfectly to be able to hit the next rhythm section. So it's like the whole Supercross track is sort of one thing, and you have to learn how to manhandle and master that one thing. You have to treat it like it's one thing. You have to learn every little section of the track, every little spot, every little secret line, it's every little thing that makes you a master at Supercross. Every little. Okay, it's not a big thing. But another difficult thing about Supercross is it's one of those things, like I'm saying, it's hard to get to the point where it's easy. It takes so much work to go from doubling in out of a rhythm section to tripling in out of a rhythm section. But once you get to the point where you can triple in out of a rhythm section, then it makes rhythm sections 100 times easier. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you have to slave away at such a hard thing for so long, but once you get to a certain point, then it becomes so easy because now you're flowing, now you're smooth, now you can hit that jump better, now you can hit that corner better because everything's smoother, everything's faster, everything's gelling one with the bike and the track, so that's what's so difficult about Supercross is it's so hard to get to the point where it's easy, it takes so much work to get to that point, And like I was saying, it's like almost an all or nothing sort of thing with a lot of Supercross sections. And it's just, certain things you got to learn how to hit big ass jumps where you got to be in the perfect gear. You start learning how to scrub over finish line jumps and triples to save every little sliver of a second because you don't have a 2-minute lap time. You're like in a 1-minute lap time range. So it's even more critical every little thing that you do to get a fast lap time when everyone's in nearly the same exact second of a lap time. But a lot of times with Supercross tracks, there's secret line, not really secret lines, but sort of like trick lines on the track. You know, I say secret, but a lot of people know about them. But it's just, you know, there's like certain lines on tracks where you'll like jump over a wall instead, like you'll jump clear, you'll hit a little divot, a little 1-inch divot off of the ground, and it'll let you actually jump over that wall instead of having to hit the wall. Like crazy stuff like that that'll save you 3 seconds. And then you've got your, I would say about 70% of Supercross tracks, maybe 80%, all have a pretty monster rhythm section on them, like a pretty hard rhythm section where I would say probably, you know, your top 3 or 4% of the people in this game can hit it every lap consistently. Only the top 3 or 4%, like that difficult of a rhythm section. There's at least one of those rhythm sections on about 70% of Supercross tracks. And if you're not hitting that rhythm section, you're going to be losing about a second or two, which is devastating on a Supercross track. You know, you can't afford to lose a second or two. So if you're not hitting that humongous stuff, you're at such a disadvantage. And it's just crazy when you think of all of it like that. But you just learn how to get the drive out of corners when you start doing it a lot, and that's what allows you to hit these bigger jumps and stuff. You learn how to like hit a corner and be on the throttle to where you're not spinning completely out, but you're spinning just enough to where you're keeping your flow around the corner, but you still got your drive to hit that next jump, and you learn how to pull up on the bike, how to huck the bike, how to lean. There's a lot more leaning involved, I feel like, with Supercross than there is motocross, just in the nature of the jumps and stuff. But yeah, I mean, Supercross, like I'm saying, it's just always came natural to me, but it's one of those things that it's just like anything, man. It just takes time to learn it. But once you do, it becomes easier. I promise. Do it as much as you walk, and it becomes as easy as walking. It's the truth, man. And a lot of people kind of get crazy with, they think they need a certain setup on Supercross, or they think they need this to hit this certain Supercross jump or whatever. It's not so much like that. Like, you can put me on a stock suspension 450, and I can hit any jump on any Supercross track. I'm saying that right now. Put me on a stock suspension. I'm not talking about stability and vertical springs and mass distribution and stuff like that. I'm talking about just the suspension aspect of it. Put that all on 50 stock, and I can hit any triple in, any quad, any whoop section, anything with it. So don't get too caught up in that. A lot of it, the setup thing is like your vertical springs and your rider mass distribution and your gearing and your actual stability. That's more of what's going to change a lot in this game, more so than the suspension itself. The suspension itself is a very minute tuning type of thing. It's not like you have to have a certain suspension to be able for the bike to even be capable of hitting that triple in. It's not like that, dude. You can do it with stock suspension. But either way, I hope this video helps some of you guys out. It's kind of hard to explain everything in a blanketed video like this. I will be going in there and doing more specific things like Supercross corner guide, seat bounce guide, rhythm section guide. This is just more of a blanketed sort of guide here. So don't forget, all of my MX Simulator guides are in a playlist on my front page. So either way, I appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.